Hello, everybody. We are very sorry we are late. That is my fault. I was a bit late to the party, so it's always my fault. I apologise. Let's say hello to a few people we've got in the chat. So can you guys see the chat okay?
Yep.
Yeah. All good.
Excellent. Just quickly, I'll introduce the two very handsome chaps to my right on my screen. So we have Nick from Talk and Review. Thanks for joining me again, Nick. We have the Barry of Birmingham.
I'm trying to get my hand right.
Hold on. Have I got this right? Yes, there we go. Baz, thanks for coming on, mate. So Barry from Scentualise. I haven't updated the description because I'm useless, but once I finish the stream, I usually do that and add the thumbnail. So I will put both their channels below, but I believe we'll probably know most of the people in the chat, and we appreciate you all joining us. So we had a few early people here, and thanks for joining us so early and being more punctual than I am. We have Barry, we have Funky Fragrance Lover, we have Kit Kat, we have Nigel. Hello, Nigel. We have Russell. Thank you for joining us as always, Russell. We have Ant in the chat. Thank you, Ant. And we have Jackie. Anyone else in the chat? John.
Javier's here as well.
John. Barry's in the chat as well. Hi, Barry.
Hey.
Scott.
Hello, boss.
So yeah, thanks for everyone for joining. I'm going to be really rude. I'm going to be very uncouth and eat whilst my live is on. You can see there, it's getting cold. My Chinese arrived about 2 minutes, or about 5 minutes before we were due to go live. So I'm going to be drinking and eating with the guys. I'll stop waffling and we'll move into what we're going to be talking about. So Nick, I'll let you explain. What are we going to be talking about this evening? Why I fill my drink.
How much Chinese Tony can eat within 30 minutes.
Cheers, everyone.
So we're gonna go over our discovery pack of Atelier. Go through each one. So Tony will give you wonderful people a little breakdown of the notes, and then all of us will give our impressions for each one. So hopefully a few of you have got these fragrances and you can join in.
Well,
Excellent.
Catty, earlier today, she posted a picture and she's got all of the bottles lined up. She's nearly got every one of these.
Yeah,
Massive
it was a
shout
really
out
good picture as well.
Catty.
Yeah.
Great picture and lovely support. So thanks, Catty. I know you like this brand, and I think you feel a lot of the same way about a lot of them that I do. So we can, it'd be good to have someone sniff along and put in the comments and let them know what we think. Has anyone else in the chat got any of these fragrances? It'd be great to hear from you as well. Baz, if you, how's your week of testing been? Have you been doing it this week? Just want to talk us through how you tested and what you did.
Well, I tested quite a few of these a while back when we was due to do it last time. So basically the last... The last one, if people don't know, we was due to do this a while ago and it was postponed. Then it got postponed again. Then it got.
I think it was back in March.
Again.
COVID,
back before I was even doing YouTube. So yeah, I tested quite a few back then, but I had to just get a reminder, and I've written some notes then this week, just got all my thoughts. So I've gone through them again. Got the missus sniffing my arms as usual. She even come up with the excuse today saying that she'd lost a sense of smell so that she couldn't smell any on me. But you ain't getting away with it that easy.
Brilliant. If I was Bex, I would do that to me. Brilliant, Baz. We have some more people in the chat. We have Becca. Thanks for joining us, Becca. And we have Chris in the house as well. And we have Javier in the house as well. So so we have a few extra people. So again, thanks for joining us on this Friday night. Right. Should we dig into the first one then?
Let's do it.
We'll try and go in some sort of order. So I'm going to start with the pink. I don't know why I chose that one. Of course I would. And are you wondering why the colours are the colours? Because this is called Pacific Lime, so I don't associate it with pink. But they put it in the pink one. Have you got that one, Baz? There ready?
Yeah.
So I'll just run through the notes and then we'll
I just
move
wish
over
they'd
to Nick
write
to
it a
give
bit
us his
bigger on the
thoughts.
bottles.
Yeah, I know. You have to get your
Yeah, it's quite
magnifying
hidden.
glass up.
Yeah.
It's not. It's your age. We've got in the top we have lime, Italian lemon, and coconut. And have you noticed there's no pyramid on this one? It just moves straight into mint and eucalyptus. So they are the notes. Nick, do you want to run us through your thoughts and what you got from it?
Yeah, sure. So I was quite surprised with this one, and I'd say that this is my second favorite out of all of them. The opening, you get a massive blast with the opening, and I found that this one would be, for me personally, a really good summer scent. I really enjoyed it when I wore it, and the performance isn't amazing on this one, but I found that the lime, I think it's got lemon in it as well. I found that sort of blend really nice. Is this the one that's got no, this hasn't got coconut in it. So
It
yeah, it
has,
was just
Nick.
that
It has got
has it got
coconut.
coconut in it? Yeah.
Yeah, it
I
Yeah.
was
has, yeah.
thinking one of these is the one that's got coconut in it. I can't really pick it up. And I don't know whether that is because it's a really good blend. But yeah, it's just more of them citrus notes. Yeah, I really enjoy it. It's one of my favorites. It's my second favorite. Yeah, just really nice for me for this one anyway.
Excellent. Baz, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, well, I think it smells a bit like a cocktail. So
Okay.
you've got
Yeah.
your lemon and lime in the opening, but it's not like I know a lot of lemons can be like very cleaning product like. It's definitely not cleaning product like. I think it's cool, it's refreshing, and it takes you off to the beach. I really
Yeah.
think it's that sort of thing, and I think like and just said Nick even that it's very well blended and well balanced as well. Because not a lot of the notes, apart from the opening where you got the lemon and lime, not a lot of the other notes stand out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's really
I
well
agree with
balanced. It reminds me of an Aqua Allegoria frag
Okay.
called
Yep.
Limon Verde, which I've got. But the only thing I'd say was different is the Limon Verde is just a bit more creamy.
Right. Okay.
This isn't as creamy. Whether that's the mint and the eucalyptus, which are giving it more of a fresher vibe. But it does remind me of Limon Verde.
Excellent. Thanks, Baz. And you know what, I get a lot of the same things that you do. I get in the opening lemon and like a sea salt air. So I think that reflects in what you said about it being a great holiday fragrance. I found it a little harsh and sharp, and I'm going to be a little bit harsher than you two. It gave me a slightly sort of cleaning product feel to it. I don't get much. I don't get much lime either.
Where's my keys?
Sorry.
Steve's going to pop over now.
Evie's going to bed.
Hi, Evie. Good night.
Say good night.
I might have the same happen to me shortly.
Yeah.
So yeah, I get a slightly harsher feel from it. I don't get much of the lime, even though that's the main name. It's part of the name. To me, I don't get much lime or the coconut actually. I thought it would be, with the description, a little bit more like Virgin Island water, and it just wasn't at all like that. It was nothing like it at all. I do pick up a little bit of greenness, a little bit of mint. The eucalyptus gives it a slightly sort of menthol feel. That's what I pick up. And it just sort of confuses me a little bit, this, because it's just not what it says on the tin. It smells okay, but slightly synthetic. This one, as you can tell, isn't for me. I wanted this to be a tropical cocktail in a bottle from those notes. And it was perfectly okay, just didn't blow me away. Because of, I think I was expecting it to be more like Virgin Island water, I just got a little bit let down by it.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't have read the notes first, but I read the notes, sprayed it, and it was just completely different to what I expected. But I tried it,
the right
I
one?
wore it for it. Yeah, I was, unless mine's gone off or something's happened to it. But yeah, I didn't get the same things. And you know what? This is what's good about it, because you're getting 3 different takes.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And we're going to get different things from them. And this just proves, if someone watches one of your reviews and they leave a negative comment, it doesn't smell it, then this video will explain that exact scenario. So we'll see if we agree on any as we go along. But that one, for me personally, was a little bit of a letdown.
Did you wear that one on skin, Tony, or
I did. Yeah, I wore them all on skin. I wore them
Yeah.
a day each, and I had to get through, because I'd worn some of them a few months ago.
in half a day each.
And that to then make notes on them. So what I did was I'd like spray one half of my side on one fragrance and one half on the other, and kept going back to them in the week. And I was wearing 2 at a time, which probably didn't help. But when you're smelling up close, you should be able to get a really good feeling for it. So
Yeah.
I'm sure a lot of us, as I called it in my last video, fragrance heads, I think would understand that, definitely.
Yeah.
We have Dan in the building. We have Tara. We have New Den Lions. We have Rob. I think that's everyone else that we said hello to. So thanks for joining us. Shall we move on to the next one?
Let's do it.
Yeah.
Excellent. So the next one I have on my list is in an even nicer pink, part of the Discovery pack. So it's this end, and it is called Iris Rebelle. And let me just find my notes. Iris Rebelle, here we go. So it has in the top bergamot, it has orange blossom, it has black pepper in the top. In the mid, it has iris, lavender, and May rose. Is that Rose de Mai? Who knows? And in the base, we have white musk, guaiac wood, and patchouli. Nick, do you want to talk us through your thoughts?
Yeah, with this one, I wasn't too keen on the opening on this one. I got a bit of a mixture of things. There's a bit of like woody pencil shavings that I got from it. There was an earthiness to it that I didn't really like. I think with its having Iris as the name, I think I was expecting a little bit of that lipstick smell that I'm used to with the Dior. So I was looking forward to it, and I think it disappointed me a little bit. I find it's quite a light scent, but overall, this one wasn't for me. The performance was not particularly great either, with it being, well, to me anyway, a light scent. But yeah, I think it had a bit of like a carrot smell to it as well, which I think put me off a bit.
Hold on to that thought, Nick. I've got something on that as well. So
yeah. So yeah, no, I wasn't a big fan of this one.
Excellent. Baz, what's your thoughts?
You get quite a dry iris from this, don't you? But there's also,
like
I think what you get like a bit of the root of the iris plant as well. So I think that's where Nick was finding the earthiness, and that might be like where you get the carrot smell as well.
Yeah.
I do think you get a bit of bergamot in the opening. And I do think the more it dries down, there's more of like a peppery feel to it as well. But I do like it. It's a really nice iris, I think. It's different to a lot of the irises which are out there. And you definitely get the lipstick vibe as well.
I couldn't pick that up.
Maybe it's because I wear it.
Yeah, probably. I think Funky Fragrance Lover mentioned it, is that the iris scents probably get a bit of a hard time because of Dior, which I probably agree.
Yeah, I agree with that. They do it so well. Probably the best out there, actually. And it's going to be difficult for another company. Chanel have brought out the fragrances, and there's other things on the market, and they just never quite live up to it, do they?
No.
Right, I'll give you my thoughts on it then. Is that all your thoughts on it, Baz? Sorry,
before
mate,
you jump in, talking about the performance again, and I think there's a theme with all of these fragrances from Atelier.
Agreed.
There's only a couple which last on me, and all the rest. This is what I was saying earlier about the fact that you could be trying one fragrance for half a day and the other fragrance for the other half of the day, because
Yeah.
by
Yeah.
the time dinner
Vanishes.
time comes again, it's gone.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agree.
They
Fully
very
agree with that.
quickly. Sometimes they last a lot longer as a skin scent, but I think the projection on them and the CRG is very weak. I think first
None of them allowed,
half an
are
hour
they?
to an hour, and they start going. But a
Yeah.
lot of them are summer scents, aren't they? So you would
Yeah.
expect it really.
Yeah, exactly. I agree, Barry, 100%. We'll get into some of the thing, I think, at the end, because it's going to stop me purchasing a lot of them. And I like some of the fragrances, but we'll move through and get into that a bit later on. My thoughts on this, you two hit some of the same bang on with what I said. So an earthy iris opening is what I put. It's brightened slightly by the bergamot and orange blossom. It's softened with the rose and white musk. I've just put it's perfectly nice. It could be worn in any occasion where you didn't want to offend anybody. So what I liked about it, I think I read this on Fragranza, this part, but I really liked the comment that I had to mention it. And a lot of people think that us reviewers read Fragranza to get all our ideas and stuff, but it's sometimes nice to get some validation as to what you're smelling. And
Yeah.
some people get completely different things to what you get anyway. They're so varied, the reviews, but it's nice when someone picks out the exact same things that you are. And this person on Fragrantica explained this brilliantly. This wouldn't offend anybody, this fragrance. You could quite easily wear it to a birth or a funeral. It's very versatile. So you could wear it anywhere and no one would really be offended by it. It's an easy wear. So it's very versatile.
Funeral fragrance.
Yeah. So any event where you just think I can't wear anything too heavy, whether it be an interview, whether it be, I don't know, your first day at work, whatever it might be. Barry might wear oud on his first day to work, but I couldn't.
I don't wear oud on stuff. Full stuff.
But Nick, this is where it gets interesting. I put that I get an ambrette seed scent in there, a note. An ambrette seed is it can be perceived as pear or carrot.
Yeah.
I get that. So that for me takes this fragrance to another well-known hype fragrance that's been released recently. And with that pear and iris and carrot seed style note, would you guess what that is?
Haven't a clue.
No? Bukhara by Gallivant.
Okay.
Oh yeah. Okay.
So if you smell it again, smell Bukhara, they're not the same scent, but you get this slight, I don't know why it isn't listed, but you get this sort of ambrette or carrot seed note to it, which takes it with the iris. It's a very similar iris to what's in Bukhara. That's what I pick up.
Is
It's that earthy iris rather than a lipsticky iris.
Is ambrette like a musk mallow?
Correct.
Yeah.
But it's like a carrot seed note almost, which could be perceived as pear or carrot. Some people get different things from it, but that's what people get from Gallivant, from Bukhara as well. Some people smell carrot, some people smell pear. And that's,
it's not a huge
that's
amount. It's not a huge amount that I could smell. It's just
a hint of it, and that's exactly it. I think when it dries down, you get that little hint, and you still get that iris that's still there. But the iris is a very similar earthy iris in Bukhara. It's not that lipsticky iris. So that's what I get from it. I
noticed that Funky Fragrance Lover said that I don't mind if they last half a day as long as it's quality. Well, speaking as someone that reviews and tests stuff all the time, it's a godsend that it's only lasts half a day.
Yeah.
But we have to tell people how long it lasts, because that's the first thing that people ask. How long does it last? Is it going to last all day? But that doesn't always explain the quality of it, does it?
No, not at all.
By the way,
some people think if it lasts a long time, then it's quality, and that doesn't work.
By the way, Kit Kat's put, I'd get Bukhara, I wouldn't get Iris Rebelle. You know what? I agree 100%. This is like a much stronger, better performing version of what we've just smelled. Bukhara. Much better. So I would 100% agree with that. But it's got a similar note profile. Let's move on. What's next? On to some of the citruses now. So we've got Pomelo Paradise, and I had to jump. This was one of the last ones I actually tried. Went out of order, and that's because it was one of the first ones I tried earlier. So the notes in this are pink grapefruit, mandarin, and blackcurrant, and mid notes of orange blossom, mint, and rose. Base notes of vetiver, amber, and iris. Nick, what did you get from this?
I actually smelt this one. I reviewed it because I got a few samples before we got the discovery set, and for me, this is all about the grapefruit. It's a full-on blast of grapefruit. It's very bright. I love the opening, but the performance is pants. I found on me on this one, and it really let me down, the performance, because I absolutely loved the opening. It felt juicy, a sort of realistic smell, and I wanted that throughout the whole fragrance. And then when it got to the dry down, I then was like, yeah, I don't think I really like this now. And I started getting a bit of Body Shop vibes with the dry down. But yeah, the opening is amazing, but as it transitions, I think it gets worse. So if it lasted how it does when it opens, then and it performs well, this would be an awesome fragrance overall.
Great take, Bass. What's your thoughts?
It's strange that, isn't it? Because a lot of the grapefruit notes that you find in fragrances tend to last quite a while. I don't know if it's because a lot of them are backed up by Ambroxan, and maybe that's something that these lack, a bit of that oomph behind them to just give them that push. But yeah, I get a real juicy, but also sour and fresh opening to it. And I think it's quite fizzy. It reminds me of pink lemonade.
Oh, yeah. Now you say that.
Yeah.
But I think, once again, it's mostly citruses. I don't really get any other notes from it. Even going into the dry down, I just don't get anything. And once again, it's another one. This is the one that performed the least on me as well. And it takes something to perform badly amongst all these.
Yeah.
Agreed. I get, again, a lot of the same things. I'll be quick on this. I put a little caption in my notepad right next to the thing, and I've written the caption for this. I've written, "This powder is bright," and in the dry down it goes quite powdery, but it just fades so fast. The opening is so bright, and you sort of not wowed by it, but like, oh, that's good. It really sort of makes you smile. Really bright and happy opening, and then it just fades so fast. The mint, there is mint. I pick up the mint. That gives it like a sort of nostril clearing quality in it, and that's quite near the beginning of it. And then very quickly it goes soapy and powdery. I put it as a nice fragrance, but typically Atelier. This is a story behind most of these fragrances. It's typical of what we smell in all of these. It fades so fast. It's a nice citrus holiday style scent, non-offensive, easy and pleasant to wear, but not interesting enough for me. Doesn't last. And I know people will get a little bit offended about people saying fragrances don't last. We're doing it from a sample. You haven't sprayed much. You could have the full bottle and spray it all over your clothes and stuff. But when you're spending 80 to 100 pounds on the bottle of this, and it's basically a citrus scent that fades fast, it needs to have something else in it for that to be worthwhile for me. And some of these haven't got that, and this is one of them, unfortunately.
Well, if you look at that Bulgari Tiger, that's got the grapefruit note, hasn't it? And that's backed up by the Ambroxan, and that performs quite well. I know that Alexandria Fragrances, they do one that lasts even better, don't they? But I just
do.
think I really do enjoy the opening on this. I do like a nice,
Yeah,
fresh, juicy, fizzy opening. But what's the point if it doesn't last more than an hour?
Yeah. I found this one faded really fast for me.
Definitely.
It was a really disappointment.
Well, we have Hillary that's joined us, by the way. Hi, Hillary. We have the fragrance Don as well.
Hillary.
And Chris in the house as well. So thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hillary said that Chris said hello as well, yeah. And
hello, Chris.
The fragrance Don, I don't know if anybody knows the fragrance Don, that's Darren. He's a top lad.
All right,
hello,
Darren.
He's well worth following if you haven't already.
I will go and follow the fragrance Don straight after Baz. I'll look out. But no, thanks for joining us, everybody. I'm glad you're saying things from that, at least. We all bashed it a little bit. Easy, Nick. Easy.
Oh, dear.
You're the one in the middle. You could go skiing. Right, let's move on.
Where's the bishop?
Where's the bashing?
Right. Next is Orange Sanguini. What did we think of this one? Right, let's go through the notes. This was this will be interesting what you get from this. Blood orange, bitter orange in the top, a mid of geranium and jasmine, and a base of sandalwood, amber, and tonka. Nick, what were your thoughts on this one? Sorry.
Yeah, you can pick up that blood orange. The opening again is a full-on blast of fruitiness, juiciness, and mouth-watering to your senses. But I feel it's a bit more of not an orange type of juice. It's more of I think I've seen it as well. Someone commented the orange peel that you get from it. With this one, though, what I found was similar to the previous one. The opening is stunning and I really like it. But then when it dries down, it disappoints me. Some of that sweetness goes away. And for this one, it started to go really fast into a skin scent. And again, it's another one where you'd probably need to keep spraying it to pick up that nice oranginess. But yeah, it's nice, but again, it's the performance that's just letting it down for me.
Nick, what are you drinking, by the way?
What am I drinking?
Yeah, Jackie's asked.
Baileys. I fancied a bit of Baileys tonight. It's a bit cold.
Baileys. Wow.
Yeah. Is that what you guys are?
Advocaat.
Oh.
This is very, I'm not sure what to think of these.
Bit creamy.
If I didn't have my rather girly white wine glass, I would take the Nick, but I can't. A bit of Advocaat and some Baileys. Oh.
Advocaat? What?
You both like it thick and creamy then. Right, moving on. Thanks, Nick, by the way.
It's all right.
Baz, what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I'm a big fan of orange scents, so this appealed to me straight away. And the one thing this reminded me of and wanting me to go and get an orange and chop it into quarters and eat them was like half time at when you used to play football on a Sunday morning.
Yeah,
it is quite mouth-watering, and it wants you to go.
It is mouth-watering.
Yeah, it gives you that urge to go and try some orange. But yeah, it's another one of these. I had a sample of another Aqua Allegoria one by Galan called Orange Soleil, and I think that is a much better version of what this is trying to do.
Barry, haven't you got all of the Galans? Everyone ever made?
He's close.
Do you even know how many Galans there is?
I know there's lots and lots, and I know you've probably got
Hundreds.
about 80% of them. I'm
Put it this
not
way, if I
jealous,
run out of
by the way,
alcohol,
I
I'll be
am,
all
I'm not
right. Like Brian's
Uh,
just said.
jealous. He's just said you're drinking, Nom.
Yeah. I won't mind that, because that's like a mojito, that is.
Oh,
But yeah,
there
this
we
is
go.
another one where it goes a bit creamy, but I don't really pick much else from it.
You can't pick out any like other notes. I don't think with some of these.
Is that a good thing with these, to say that they're well blended, or are you
Yeah, I
supposed to
think so.
pick the notes
To say you
out,
can't
or...
pick out the jasmine, for example, I think they
Mm.
are well blended. It's either that or they're lying about what's in there, but I don't think that's the case.
Or there's just not much in there.
Yeah, or there's not
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
Yeah, there's just little traces of things to help it along. I get very similar to you two in terms of it. I found the opening piercingly photorealistic of a juicy orange. Literally, it's one of the most photorealistic openings I think I've tried in terms of it. If you say it's an orange scent and you open it and spray it, it's an orange scent and it smells very juicy, very bright. I really like the opening. I found, like you too, it settled quite quickly, which was a little bit disappointing, but a lot of citrus fragrances do that, don't they? They open bright and they fade quite fast. So it wasn't a complete surprise, especially as I would smell a couple that were doing that anyway. I think I put this was on one of my Instagram posts, and I wrote that it would make an amazing holiday fragrance, but you'd need to take it with you and reapply quite often, especially if you want that orange opening. So I think you'd burn through a bottle very, very quickly if you owned it. And it'd be one I would own, actually, because I really like it. I think it'd make amazing high heat fragrance. But you've got to be prepared to spend a bit of money in it, go quite quickly.
Yeah, I think they do 200ml bottles, don't they? So you'd probably have to get one of them.
We know why now.
Yeah.
It's I found it really juicy, really smooth and soapy in the dry down as well. I love that soapy sort of not powdery. This one doesn't go powdery, but it sort of stays quite smooth after the orange fades, and it's very well blended. As you said, it sort of seems to just go quite flat, but it's still really pleasant once the orange fades away. It settles into a skin scent so quickly, but that skin scent is really nice. It's just not. It just doesn't project much or do much. It's a skin scent, but it's a nice
a bit
skin
like
scent. Clean skin.
It's a bit like when you've just eaten an orange and you've peeled it and your fingers, and then when you're smelling your fingers afterwards,
I was going to
the
say that
smell that you're getting from it.
Yeah,
definitely
Kit Kat's
it's very realistic.
It is. Kit Kat's, but it goes quite woody on her. Lizzie's put Nick easy. Behave yourself. Lizzie's
just
put
absolute filth tonight.
Floral, too floral and soapy for Lizzie. She likes the Galan. She thought that was better, but it doesn't. Yeah, it didn't last too long on me. Moving on. Next fragrance. We're on to the fourth one. No, we're on to the fifth one already, are we? Hold on.
Yeah, vanilla incense.
Yeah, we are.
Incense.
Vanilla incense. Yeah. So, interesting this one. Nick, what were your thoughts? Let me just go on through the notes. Apologies. So, in the top, we've got lime, citron, and coriander. In the mid, we have vetiver, oak moss, and jasmine. And in the base, we have vanilla, oak, and amber. Nick, what were your thoughts on this one?
I got a 10ml of this quite a while ago, and I actually blind bought it just on the basis that it had the word vanilla or vanilla in the name, because I'm a massive fan of vanilla. But when I tried it, I wasn't a big fan of it because it was more of a I think I described it as a creamy coffee type of fragrance, what I got out of it. And after trying Annie, I had not tried Annie from Nishani at this point, but I expected this fragrance to be that. So yeah, I wanted a bit more of that ice creamy type of vanilla. So I think I had different expectations for this one. Not to say that it's a bad fragrance. It's just not one that I was expecting. I wanted that more vanilla than the sort of creamy coffee type of scent. In terms, free the need for speed. Oh yes, yeah, it's a nice one. Again, I found the performance wasn't too bad on this one. It performed a bit better than the other ones. But yeah, good scent, but probably say not one for me.
Okay. Baz, what were your thoughts?
See, I got quite a bit of lime in the opening of this one. Did you get lime?
I didn't pick out lime on this one.
Yeah, I did. I
got-
did. I got a bit of lime, Gaz, yeah.
I got quite a bit of lime in the opening, but then obviously the vanilla takes over. But I think it's a very different vanilla that you get in a lot of other
agreed.
fragrances. You tend to find that vanilla is normally mixed with things like caramel or sugar, and it like sweetens it up. But I think this is like a dry vanilla,
Mhm.
and I do really enjoy it. And I think the dry down as well, it gets more woody. Everybody likes a bit of wood,
Cheers.
and the amber obviously kicks in as well. I really enjoy it.
Excellent. This is, I wrote my caption says vanilla with a difference, Baz. So that's
Yeah.
the same as what you've put. Most, and I've said very similar things. So I'm glad we get similar things. Got most vanilla fragrances very sweet and lean towards sort of gourmand territory, which I think is what you wanted, Nick, and what you said, Barry. Really, this doesn't do that at all. I found it quite light and quite airy. But I thought the lime and the vanilla together made it very unique and made it a different vanilla fragrance and something that I found actually quite interesting. It's soft but sweet. I put that it'd work in any weather or any event, from a walk on the beach to a date night or a quiet night in. I thought the performance could be a touch better. That's being critical. I think this did last better than some of the others. It didn't fade so fast. But I would say it's not vanilla insane, as Insensi translates to mean. It's not a vanilla bomb. It's very lightly done on the vanilla, but it's definitely there and definitely one of the first things you pick out and definitely one of the last things you pick out. So it's there, but it still remains to be quite sort of light on your skin. It's never too much. So again, it wouldn't offend anybody. But I think you'd pick compliments up on this because it's different to a designer fragrance. But
It is
again,
different.
did I want something more from it? Maybe you could have ramped up the lime and the vanilla a touch more, the woods a touch more. But I quite enjoyed it. It's one of my better ones that I liked from this. Definitely one of my favourite from the house, I would say.
I think Nick's right when smelling it again now, it does feel as if it does go a bit creamy coffee like. It is quite creamy. And I didn't get that when I first smelled it, but it's weird when someone mentions something about a fragrance that suddenly you pick certain things up.
Yeah.
I get that all the time.
Excellent. Right, let's move on. On to the next one, which is, where are we? Where have we got to?
Ylang.
We're now on
Oolong Infamy. Strange name. Did anyone know what Oolong was before they looked it up?
I haven't got a clue.
No.
I hadn't got a clue. It rang a bell, but didn't know what it was, so I looked it up, and it's obviously a tea. And it's in the top we have bergamot and Tunisian neroli. In the mid we have tea, jasmine, and leather, and in the base we have vetiver, guaiac wood, and tobacco blossom, which I've never seen in a fragrance. Nick, what was your thoughts on this?
I thought this one was a very fresh and clean straight off when I sprayed it. Spending time with it for a little bit. I'm not a big fan of vetiver, but for some reason I could pick it up in this slightly. It's not a fragrance again that I jump to. I don't dislike it. I did find there was I don't know what the note was, but there was something that was spicy in it that I actually liked in this. I don't get any leather. I couldn't pick up any leather, but I get the tea and sort of jasmine vibe. I'm just thinking of like them variations of tea bags that you can get, all your herbal tea bags. I got that sort of vibe from it at some points. But again, I think this one faded pretty quick for me. But yeah, it's not something I'd jump towards. I did like the freshness of the start of it. But again, it's not something that's I want to wear that on a regular basis.
Nigel's put, he can see you buying a collection. It's Nick, I loved your thoughts on that. It's funny that you get a tea note from it. Have you any experience with other tea note fragrances? Because I admittedly haven't really got that experience with them, and ones that I've smelt it, ones that have it in, I've struggled to pick that tea note out. And I love tea, by the way, so I should really pick it out. And we have different flavored teas in the house, different things. We like teas and coffees, and we buy a lot. But I struggle with a fragrance with a tea note in. I really don't pick it out and go, it's a note I'm struggling to pick out of any fragrance. If I find out it's got tea in, I wouldn't have guessed it.
Funky Maybe Fragrance mentioned Gucci Pour Homme 2. I've not tried that one, but I tried Perfumes Vintage is version, and that one's you can really pick it up in that. Okay,
I need to try something. I think that's really heavy on the tea, so I can understand what it smells like, and then maybe I'll pick it up in other fragrances.
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys do that. Russell, I'm sorry to jump off track, Baz. I'll get you in just a sec, but Russell asked me on Instagram the other day, how do you pick out notes? He's really struggling to sort of understand what the notes smell like. And one of the things I would recommend that's worked for me is by picking a fragrance that's heavy on one note, so you get the style of that thing. So, for example, we were talking about on Claire's live last night, Tonka. And for me, the epitome of a Tonka scent would be something like Fave Delicious, which is just Tonka heavy. It's a Tonka bomb. So then I find that I know Tonka can smell so different in different things, but if it's Tonka heavy, does it smell like that? And I try and do that with a lot of different things. That works for amber fragrances. It works for patchouli fragrances. It works for vanilla fragrances. It works for so much. And then when you do smell a new fragrance that you don't know what the notes are, and you haven't looked them up, you start to pick out stuff. I don't know if you work in a similar method or not, if that's what you've done.
Or you could do a Jeremy and have about 50 oils and be like, yeah, tobacco, vanilla, and smell all the different ones in the morning, 7 o'clock. What you got, Buzzer?
Hey, look at that. Go on,
hey.
Essential oils. And then in there, you've got all the different types. It just gives you a better understanding of some of the...
Yeah. I've got a lot of aromatherapy oils, Baz, and I do.
Yeah.
It's really strange. I apply a little bit like on my neck and my wrist or something before bed after a shower, and I just try a new one every day or every other day or so, just to try and get an idea of what that smells like on its own. And it does work. It is something that's
and what I'll do, I'll experiment with the aromatherapy when I'll put, say, 3 or 4 different ones mixed together in the humidifier to try and create a certain scent.
Was that pure scents, Barry?
Yeah.
I've tried. I tried the
Tom's essential oils.
Yeah, I think I've seen them.
Okay.
Yeah. But there's quite a few in. I think there's 16 in that one, which is quite useful. Do we know where oolong tea originates from? What it is?
I'm guessing it's a Chinese tea. I'm guessing there. I know I read about it being somewhere between a black tea and a green tea. It's distilled sort of somewhere between the two. So you've got green tea, which is, I think, quite heavily distilled, or it might be lower, I can't remember, but this is in the middle of how those two teas are made. I did read that up. That's all I can remember.
I mean, I wouldn't have picked a tea note in on this. I think the only two tea notes that I've picked out before has been a green tea and like a chamomile smell, but that's more chamomile than a chamomile tea. And from this, I get another bright opening, whether that's the bergamot. I think John would absolutely love for this one because I know he's a big fan of neroli. So I know he would love this. And I think that's where you get the freshness from, Nick.
Yeah.
But I do think this turns into a really nice, smooth, woody scent. The longer you wear it, the better it gets, I think. And I think it's got, you saying it's like a Chinese, I think it has got like an exotic sort of oriental vibe to it.
Okay.
That's my thoughts on that one.
Did you like it though, Baz? Is it something that you quite liked? Or?
Not really.
Not gone away. No.
No. It's not something I'd reach for.
I wrote in my little note, is it lemon? ? And I got like a lemon blast in the opening, a citrus blast. It smells like lemon to me, and it smelled familiar to other fragrances that I've had with lemon in. And it's citrus, slight florals. I put are the main notes that come to me. I wrote in there, I don't really get that tea note. I get a tiny touch of a green accord, but it goes very shower gel like on me. It doesn't blow me away at all. Smells good, but a little too simple. Not my fave because not enough is going on.
Yeah.
So again, I think that's similar to what you both said.
Yeah.
It's not something I would own. It's perfectly nice again. I didn't write anything about the performance on this one. How did you get on?
For me, I found it not too. It was a bit similar to the others, to be fair. It wasn't a one where the performance really stands out.
Yeah, same here. Same here.
Excellent. Well, let's move on to the next one. We're getting through these quite well.
Cheeky.
We are now.
Cheeky.
Oh, look. I've just finished a bottle of wine, Baz, and that's my next tipple.
All in one, Barry.
I'm not going to down it. I've got a weekend, but there's my glass of ice. Look, ready to. I came prepared, so that's why I was late. You now got the real reason.
It took you that long. It's no water.
It'll water it down enough for me.
Yeah.
Right, so on to the next one, which is, I believe. Oh, we're moving through these nicely. We've only got 4 left. And the next one is Clementine, California. And notes on this are in the top clementine, mandarin, and juniper. In the mid, basil, star anise, and pepper. In the base, cypress, vetiver, and sandalwood. Nick, what were your thoughts on this one?
Before Nick jumps in on this one, do you guys know the difference between an orange and a clementine and mandarin smell-wise? Because I don't.
Yeah, I think that's what I always say is with satsumas, tangerines, nectarines, that type of, they're a bit sweeter and easier to not only eat, but probably to smell as well. An orange would be, to me, much closer. It still smells like an orange, but it smells much closer to like a grapefruit. It goes a little bit more sour.
More sour.
Yeah. So that's what I get. So if it's got an orange note, actually an orange note, it would be a little bit more sour. And if it's got like a clementine or a mandarin note, I would see that as being a bit sweeter. That's how I would interpret it.
You just think that it's just a little softer.
Yeah, perfectly. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
Exactly how I would explain it. Yeah. And Kit Kats put Satsuma, Clementine, Mandarin are very similar, and they're all in a similar category, aren't they?
Do they smell like chocolate orange though?
Oh, I love chocolate orange, Baz. You're
Oh,
such an
mate, it's my
enabler.
Yes,
favourite.
Terry.
I want some now.
Go on, Nick. Sorry, mate. Sorry for interrupting.
It's all right. Tony, have you gone through the notes?
Yep, gone for the notes.
Yeah. So I think you hit the nail on the head with this one. It's very compared to your orange sanguine. It's very soft. I've just resprayed it just to remind myself. I think this is a mixture for me, really. I think it's one that I don't know if I like it or I don't. I think there's aspects to it that I do like, but then I think that softness takes me away from it. It doesn't hit me as much as orange sanguine. I prefer that to this. Yeah, I feel that it's a lot lighter. I'd probably say this would probably lean towards maybe females if they wanted to wear this one. I know that majority of them are unisex, but yeah, I think that's where, I don't know. Yeah, that
Just triggered,
softness.
John.
Yeah, John's going to kick off now.
Yeah, he's just triggered.
Yeah. But yeah, it's a nice scent. I think when I wore this again last time, it was similar to a good few of the others. The performance wasn't great. Really like the opening, but it's not as good as Orange Sanguine.
Barry, what were your thoughts, Nick?
See, that's another one as well. Blood orange. What's the difference between a blood orange and a normal orange? I mean,
blood orange.
I know it's got more colour in it and stuff, but
Slightly
what's the difference?
more tart again, Baz.
You think?
Yeah,
I think it's
even
the
closer to
sweetness of
grapefruit.
it.
Really?
Yeah.
So for me, this was another beautiful orange opening. I do like my orange openings. It's quite sharp. It's aromatic. It's quite woody. But I think there's quite a bit of greenness in there, and it makes me feel as if you got a bit of the branch as well as the orange.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like smelling like the green leafery, which is on the branch, and the wood as well, then you got more of a feel of what it's about. But it's got a few spices in there as well. I don't know what the spices are, but it feels like it's got some spice in it.
I didn't get triggered. You read it?
Yeah.
Yeah. For
Good
Clements,
point, though,
that one.
John.
Yeah,
Well,
it's another one that I like, and it was probably average again, both longevity and projection.
it's weird you asked the question about about oranges and clementines and stuff, Baz, because I've put some of that in my description. I put that it opens with a sweet, juicy satsuma. It's not tart like an orange would be, but rather like a sweet tangerine. And I put it's like that box that you'd get at Christmas time that my in-laws always have. And actually, we got a box on our kitchen side at the moment, and it's those satsumas or clementines. I think they're clementines. They always seem sweeter than any time of year for some reason. They always none of them are flat. Like, I've taken a satsuma to work before, and it's just been like there's not a lot of flavour. It's not ripe or
Bland,
overripe or something's not right about it. It's just not got much flavour. But whereas the Christmas ones, they seem brighter. They've still got some of the leaves on them to make them a little bit more fancy, and they just seem sweeter and more flavour in them. And actually, I got a little bit of that from this, especially in the opening. And it made it quite an interesting scent for me. It was one of the brighter citruses that I've smelt from the whole range. And what I liked about it, it had some aromatic notes that made it slightly different from the other fragrances. It had a smoothness, and I think that obviously comes. I've noticed obviously a sandalwood in there. Had a slight smoothness in the base. I really actually did like this one. It's bright and playful in the opening, and really like really like the sort of the dry down. But again, fades too fast for the sort of money it is. really love the fragrance, but I know a lot of people are a bit funny about this performance issue, but like I said earlier in the stream, 80 to £100 for something that's going to be an hour and it's a skin scent. I couldn't pay it. I'm just sorry, I couldn't. It's perfectly lovely, and if it just could last longer, i.e., even if it was 3 to 4, 5 hours, and it's a skin scent, it would be acceptable to me. But when to me it's like you get a 2-hour wear-in from something, you really enjoy the 2 hours. I'm quite conflicted with it. It's just not. It's not value for money.
The thing is, as well, a lot of fresher citrus fragrances are designed for the summer, and in the summertime, when your skin heats up, they don't last as long anyway.
So tend to fade quick.
Which one is in the winter?
So I think they'd struggle even more in the summer.
So massive disappointment with the performance, because it was a great. I preferred this over the what was it? Apologies, Orange Sanguine. I actually preferred this one. I like the aromatic sort of nature to it, and the sandalwood in there as well. It made it more interesting to me. But it just faded past. Disappointment in the end, which was a massive shame because I really liked it. Shall we move on? We have got.
Sure.
We've not got many left. We're moving through nicely. We've only got 3 left now. We have got Cedra Atlas, and that has notes in the top of lemon, bergamot, and blackcurrant. In the mid, it has cedar, apricot, and jasmine, and in the base, it has vetiver, papyrus, and amber. Nick, what did you get from this?
This is my number one. This will be a full bottle purchase for me. There was something about this. Yeah.
Hold the front door. I'm going to persuade you to buy 2 different fragrances at the end once we've done this that are going to be better than this.
Okay,
all right?
We'll see.
Sorry, mate. Sorry to interrupt. Carry on.
This was my number one out of all of these. I really loved there was a woodiness to it, them sort of woody pines. There was a nice sharpness to it. That I think it's that cedar that I really liked in this. I can imagine, I don't know, myself all smart, fresh haircut, sticking this on, and it would be a sort of feel good fragrance for me. I know I have some fragrances when I put it on, it sort of enhances my mood. Similar, I think, like Issey Miyake and all them. If I put it on, I know it's working. I'm feeling good, and this is that fragrance for me. Out of all of these, definitely my favorite out of all of them.
Oh, good choice, Baz. What were your thoughts on this?
See, I normally find that orange is the one that can sort of lift my spirits, but I get quite bergamot heavy with this. Pine trees, like a lemony blackcurrant, and I get like an air freshener vibe. Whether that's because I've had similar air fresheners here before, but I also get quite a bit of soapiness in the dry down, so it's very clean. And I get hints of peach as well.
I think that's where that really sharpness comes from. I don't know if it's the peach that's giving me that sharpness.
There's some
that I really like.
in there, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's not massive. It's just like a hint, I think. But yeah, I do like this one. It's really nice, and it's a bit different, like Nick says, from some of the others. And it lasted longer.
Yeah, This one really lasted. I'd probably say more than half a day. It lasted for me.
Yeah, definitely. This definitely lasted a lot longer for me.
Excellent. I've put on the no, don't take this the wrong way, Nick, but my description of this, and I'll explain this because I feel I'm going to get myself out of trouble with this one. but it says
Bog roll.
no. It says basic bitch. Now, I'll explain this. Stay with me because I think you'll be happy. You'll be happy by the end. Right. So in the opening, I get that hint of citrus. The bergamot, I think, is the main bit, but I do get a hint of like a citron note. So whether that's the mixture of the lemon and the citrus, the bergamot together, a citrus note in the opening. It moves straight into a typically woody, masculine style scent to me. I get a smell of something in here that should be listed, and it's not, and it's the reason why it lasts so long. And there is definitely either ambroxan, and I would say 100% ambroxan. There is, I would bet probably half of my house that there's ambroxan in this.
I can't pick it up.
It
Upstairs
has
or
that
downstairs?
Probably going to give away the upstairs because what I'm worried about, if the downstairs goes, then the top's going to crumble in onto the floor. So we'll give. It's not that the downstairs is my favourite bit, but I'm just worried that if you chop the downstairs off, I've not got anything left. Whereas if you chop the upstairs off, I could still roof it and have a bungalow. Nothing upstairs.
That's a movie. You don't have to move and chop anything off. You just turn it into flats.
It's I found that there was a slightly harsh synthetic note to it. And I'm sorry, Nick, it just put me off slightly. But you say it might be the apricot. It might be that you said Barry. Yeah, there's just a slight synthetic, and it might be the ambroxan overdone. It might be something in there that's just not quite right.
I think a lot of people do say that, to be fair, from what I've seen.
I got that, and it's just slightly harsh. It smelled clean, fresh, quite masculine to me, fairly simple. An overall scent smell, it smells pleasant. It's what I got from this. There's a couple of fragrances it smells a lot like. And one of them is the Molecule O2, and I have that. Which is an ambroxan, effectively a ambroxan wood scent, and this smells a lot like that. But Nick, that's better than this, I'm afraid. It gives you that same scent profile, but it takes away that slight air freshenery harshness that's there. So if you like
I might like the air freshener.
You might.
Bit of Febreze.
It's
just layer a bit of vanilla underneath it.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. You'll be away. But it smells like, to me, this is ambroxan. It's ambroxan heavy. So Molecule 2, massively like this, I would say. But another one that I got, that if you really like this and you want something that smells similar but better quality and lasts even longer, and sorry to push it, I'm a bit biased, but Vitour does a version of the Labo Santal 33, and it's called
Ant's got that.
Santal Lush. So if he has got that, Nick, smell it alongside this. And again, I think you'll prefer it. It lasts longer. It's got more going on, but it still smells like this. So does it
have that like sort of woody cedary smell?
100%. That's what it's that's what it mainly is. I think that if you like this, you will like those two even more. Ambroxan, the Molecule O2 fragrance is far better quality than this for less money. So I would recommend you try that, definitely.
And if you like
Nick, I'll tell you what I'll do.
Apricot.
I'll send you a sample of both of them because I've got them both, and we'll see if it'd be really interesting to get your thoughts as to whether you are getting the same things as me from them, and not only that, which of the three you would prefer. And you'll probably turn around and say, I prefer the one that you labelled as the basic bitch.
Send him a sample of So 1980s as well, because that's got apricot in it, and that is standout apricot. I love that scent. I really love that scent. That's his own creation, isn't it? That's not a copy of anything, is it?
No, it's not. No. So I'm just wondering if anyone did you say pencil shaving, Nick, in this or not? Was that one of the others? That was one of the others.
No, that was one of the others. This is more of the woody pines type of smell.
Kit Kat's put, I can't smell molecule O2. There's this little story with that Kit Kat. Vittor's version. Vittor sent me a sample of his version of the Labar, and I couldn't the Labu, the Santal 33. I couldn't smell. I smelt it. Well, the first time I sprayed it, I smelt what I'm smelling here. It smelt the same, and then I went back to it a week later or so, and I couldn't smell anything from the sample. And I asked Becca, and she was like, "No, there's nothing there. It's like it doesn't smell of anything." And that's the first time that's ever happened to me. And the tour said it has happened. Let me send you something else. Let me send you a bigger bottle, a slightly higher concentration, see if you smell it. And he sent it, and I could smell it just like this. It was really strong, and it came back. So it's really weird how some people don't get those smells. It just, you're anosmic to it, basically. It's weird. But no, Nick, great choice. I like it in terms of it's different to the others. It lasts the longest of all of these. It wasn't my favourite, but because I think I associated with the other things.
Yeah.
But great choice. We're getting through. I'm waffling because we've only got 2 left. We have Musk Imperial, our second to last one that we're going to be talking about. So Musk Imperial. What did I write for my little thing on this? Did someone say musk? Question mark, question mark, question mark. It has in the top blackcurrant, bergamot, and clary sage. In the mid, fig, leather, and lavender. And in the base, ambrette, Virginia, cedar. Nick, what did you get from this one?
It's very musky, especially on the dry down. I tested this one earlier actually, and there's it doesn't last long, but there's a certain point in the fragrance when it's going through the motions that you can pick up a bit of Virgin Island water a little bit, just a hint of it. At some point, I was like, "This smells a bit like Creed's Virgin Island water," but then it goes into that muskiness. I know the fragrance is supposed to be all about the fig note. I'd probably say this was my sort of least favorite fragrance out of all of them. There's aspects to it that I like, and there's other aspects that I don't like. I think the Virgin Island water aspect's probably the citrus aspect to it. But yeah, again, this wasn't a favourite for me.
Excellent. Thanks, Nick.
About you,
what
Bazza?
did you get, Baz, from this?
You talking about it smelling like a Creed? I thought it smelled of another Creed.
Yep.
Interesting.
Yep.
What, Aventus?
Aventus?
I couldn't get Aventus. I know a lot of people were saying that. I couldn't pick it up.
See, it's got the fruity top notes, but the longer I wear it, because originally when I tried it on, I thought, nah, it doesn't smell like Aventus. But the more I wore it, the more that Aventus vibe started coming in. And I really thought it was Aventus-like. I don't get much of the musk, if I'm honest. I know you said it was musk heavy, but I really don't get much of the musk.
Not heavy. I think I found it more hitting the dry down.
Yeah, possibly. And I don't really know what fig smells like. I mean, I used to eat the fig rolls, but fresh figs are not really my thing, so I couldn't tell you what fig smells like, to be fair. I'm not as posh as some of y'all lot.
Barry, I am definitely not posh.
But yeah, I definitely get. I mean, spraying it now, straight away, I'm not getting much Aventus, but I think about 10, 15 minutes in, then I start getting an Aventus vibe from it. So I think most Aventus clones are all about the opening, and normally they don't match Aventus when it comes to the dry down. This seems to have like reversed what a lot of the other clones have done, where it's not really matching up with the opening, but the longer you're going into it, it's matching up a bit more. I think the only thing that it lacks a bit of is like a bit of the birch. But yeah, I really like it.
I think with the fig, I think because I'm so used to Acqua di Parma's Fico di Amalfi, I know it's hard to probably pick out certain notes, but I was expecting probably something a bit more fruitier, like the other lot, and I don't think this is as fruity or photorealistic type of fragrance.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that's because it's fig rather than orange. It's a slightly harder note to get, especially as people aren't as familiar with fig as they are orange. I mean, how many figs do you eat a week compared to oranges, for example? Or satsumas, I think you just don't really buy them, so you haven't got that same association.
You're not around it, are you?
No, exactly. It does smell nice. There are some fig fragrances. I've not got a great sort of. I haven't smelt a lot of fig fragrances, like I haven't tea fragrances, for example. It's a note that I am quite unfamiliar with. But it's really weird that you said about the Aventus. When Nick said about the Virgin Island water, and I can get that with the sort of slight creaminess to it. But with what Barry said about it being like Aventus, I read that as Barry, and I didn't get it to start with. It was really, really familiar, and I've got so many clones and interpretations with Aventus. I should have picked it out immediately, and it's really weird that I didn't. And then I was reading the notes and reading a little bit about it, and then straight away it hit me when you read it. Some people have said it smells like Aventus. I was like, bang, right. Yeah, I get that. But it sort of takes away the pineapple note, add another note, which must be the fig, and it's a different take on Aventus. It's not a clone or anything like it in some ways, but I get that familiarity from it that I've got with so many clones and trying the real thing.
I think you could probably
very
say
easy to wear.
You can probably say that it's a mix of Virgin Island water and Aventus together, because the opening has got that tropical Virgin Island water feel. Why.
Yeah. I've written here in my notes. It's slightly tropical in the opening.
Yeah.
Which I wouldn't say Aventus is, but I would say Virgin Island water is. I put the name confused me a little bit because it's not particularly musky. And that's why I wrote, did someone say musk, question mark? That was the sort of clue as to what I would get from this. And it's not much musk, considering again it's in the name, like the line Pacific at the beginning. I didn't get much musk, even in the deep dry down. I found it more fruit and woods. That's similar to Aventus. I don't think it's overdone. I think it's very well blended. I think I actually really prefer the dry down actually to the opening. Once everything settles and the notes blend into each other, I think it's quite adequately nice, is what I wrote in my notes. And I think it would definitely get compliments from other people. It's quite a crowd pleaser. It's quite mass appealing. As all of these are. Have you found that? None of them are challenging.
Yeah.
They're all mass appealing scents, aren't they? They could be quite easily in any designer bottle of any company.
I don't think there's one where I've gone 100% don't like it at all.
No, but on
I
the
think
same
all of
hand,
them
on the
are
other
wearable.
end, on the other hand, I know you like the Cigar Atlas, but on the other hand, they're not wow either, are they? They're not.
Yeah.
You would say they are niche quality.
They're expensive for what they are.
Tony,
Yeah.
if I'd grabbed all these sample packs and I'd put them together and I'd sent them out to each person involved, and I told you that they were Zara, You wouldn't know any difference.
No.
And you'd
No.
think, yeah,
No.
definitely Zara, because they don't last very long, but they're pleasant and they're mass appealing.
And they don't last long.
Exactly. There's
I
no
agree
way
with
I'll
that.
pay the prices that these are going for.
Agreed.
No way.
And that's what annoys me about that Siege one, because that's like almost 100 plus. I'm like, no
Really?
chance I'm paying for that for
Don't
what
do
it
it,
is.
Nick. We'll
Yeah.
get you onto the tours one. I'll send you a sample. That'll save you some money. But no, I thought that was perfectly nice. I liked it. It was actually, it's a nice one. Not incredible, but nice. That's what my notes read. So I obviously liked it. Yeah, I think it's perfectly pleasant. You know what? It'd make a great sort of signature scent. It'd make something great that you could wear every day, and I think it would get compliments. It's probably one of the for me anyway. It's one of the nicer ones in terms of an everyday scent that you wouldn't be really disappointed with. But I didn't actually write anything about the performance, and I think that's probably because it didn't let me down as much as the others that I was really disappointed with.
Yeah, I think it was average again.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, we're on to the last one already. I think we've done quite well. Rose, Nick, do you want to help me out here?
I've not got this one.
Rose Anonymy. Oh, I've got you. I'm not taking the mic. Yeah, you told me you didn't have this. So it's called Rose Anonymy. It's got in the top Turkish rose, agar wood, mid of patchouli and apoconac, sorry. And in the base we have papyrus, benzoin, ginger and bergamot. Barry, before you start, I wrote as my little caption, because I quite like these, and I put in capital letters, "Where is the oud?" Question mark. What was your thoughts?
Is it like the oud in Date for Men?
It's exactly like that. To me, it is, yes.
I think we're spoiled because we've tried some real skanky and strong ouds. So when they put an oud into a fragrance that isn't as in your face and it's much lighter, then you feel as if you can't even smell the oud. Well, I can definitely smell the oud of this. I think it's a lovely rose, right? Lovely rose smell to it. I don't know what type of rose they've smelled, but it's like a fresh, bright rose. It really is nice. It's like I don't know if you can say it's like a fruity rose, but that's what I get from it. It feels like a fruity rose.
It's almost a
And I
hybrid
think,
rose, isn't it?
yeah,
Like a hybrid. It's got some rose in it, but there's something else blended with that. Sort of two florals. Strange. Yeah.
But I do think the longer that you wear it, the more the oud comes in, and the woodiness to it, and the rose begins to diminish. The wife really enjoyed this one as well, and this was probably the best performing out of all of them.
Interesting.
I'm not just saying that because you ain't got it, Nick.
No, this is the last one I tried, and this was today, Baz. It's on my hand still, and I sprayed this probably about 1 o'clock this afternoon. It's still a skin scent, which is much better than some of the others. So,
well, when Beth first tried this, she didn't like it. She went, "Oh no!" But then about 10 minutes later, she goes, "Actually, this is really nice."
Is that Moschino got rose in it? Toy Boy.
It has, but it's a different kind of rose. That's more like a greener sort of rose.
So a bit different to this one.
It reminds me, I mean, I like my Middle Eastern stuff, so I try a hell of a lot of stuff with rose in. It is quite different to the Middle Eastern type rose ouds, because the problem is now the market is actually absolutely flooded with rose ouds.
They are, yeah. And I'm trying a lot recently, Barry.
I do think what they've tried to do with this is try and give it a different type of rose feel to it, and I think it stands out. I really do like it.
Yeah,
I'm not sure I'd wear it, but I do like it.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's one of probably the most interesting of the whole range. Sorry, Nick, that you haven't tried this one, but it is.
No, it's fine.
It's interesting, Barry, because like you, I've tried a lot of rose and oud recently, and it seems quite overdone, if I'm being honest. But some of them I like, and some of them are too much for me. This goes in a different direction, and I think there's a couple of notes in here that change it a lot from your typical rose oud fragrances. So my notes on this, as I've put that it's not your usual rose oud, which is exactly what you've just said, Barry. It's quite bright and has something sharp in it. I said like I hardly get oud, but I hardly get rose either. It's a different rose. It's something different to that to me. It could be a different flower, but it's not a white floral,
tangy,
for
isn't it?
example. It is
You
tangy,
find it's quite
definitely.
tangy.
Yeah, and I think that's because there's some citrus mixed with it that gives it that tanginess.
What
I've
were the
also
notes on this one?
It's got ginger, it's got benzoin, which I think
okay,
is one of the
could be
things that
then.
plays a major part in it. Popanax and papyrus. So there are some interesting notes that mix with the rose nude, which I think changes it a lot. I think the citrus, the ginger, and the benzoin together with that rose nude really changes it. I really do like this. It's one of the most interesting samples in the whole range. It's quite unusual, and I'm struggling to work it out. But I'm finding it really intriguing. So I think that sort of explains it quite well. I really like it, and exactly the same as you, Barry. But I'm not sure I love it or would want to wear it all the time. And that doesn't mean it's not nice.
Is it
to wear it?
Yeah, I think I'm not sure she'd like it because I think that she seems to pick up oud even more than I do. So where I don't pick up the oud, she probably would. She'd probably
Is it a rose
associate
that
it
you'd
with
pick
those
out?
scents. It's
If
definitely
you didn't
rose
know,
in
if you
there.
didn't know rose was in there, would you pick it out?
I think I would because it's one of the
Yeah.
notes I'm most familiar with. It's like for me, patchouli I'm really familiar with, and rose and vanilla, and rose is definitely one of the notes I would go, yes, it's definitely got rose in.
Right.
But it's changed a lot. It's like it's hard to explain, but it's not your typical rose at all. It doesn't. You can't explain it as a pink rose or a dark rose it's very difficult for me to explain it. But it's very interesting, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I find it really intriguing. I quite like it, like I said, but I'm not sure I like it enough I'd want to wear it every day. But I would want to smell it on people in terms of what's that you're wearing. I find it fascinating to say you wore it, Barry, and we met, and I didn't know you were wearing it, and I smelled it, and I hadn't smelled it before. I would keep wanting to sort of quiz you on it because I find it interesting. But it's
You'd be
really
giving me a
weird.
struggle cuddle.
I definitely would be cuddling you, and yeah, I'll bring my padlocks with me. You won't get away.
Have you seen Lizzie's comment?
What's Lizzie put? Sorry, I'm going to catch up with some of the comments.
She's put, rose oud is a lovely combo. I don't think it's overdone at all. Just because everyone keeps saying it, there's still tons of variation options it can go in.
Yeah, and
They're
every
one of my
rose oud
favourites.
combo I'm smelling, it's different.
Have you smelt Shaga Food
I haven't, no.
by Swiss Arabian? That is a gorgeous oud and a gorgeous rose combo. Absolutely gorgeous. I think I sent Lizzie a sample of that actually.
I think there are some. I think what I mean by it being overdone, I'm not trying to justify this, but there are a lot of rose oud. They do go in different directions. I agree, but I'm smelling a lot from Memoirs at the moment, and they have in 2 discovery sets 3 or 4 rose oud combos, and they are very, very well done. Very well done. And they go in completely different directions to each other, which is what Lizzie has said. But I could definitely pick out rose and oud in every one. So they do share a familiarity with that, and it's a popular familiarity, isn't it? It's done a lot, but they seem to all go in different directions.
You've only got to look at the different types of rose that are available in this country. There's so many different roses. Whether they can extract it the same, or whether they even bother trying to extract it from all these different hybrids. I know that one of the most expensive roses is from Bulgaria, isn't it? And I know that Vitor has used some of that in. I think it was his Oud Silk Mood version. That was really nice, and he used the Bulgarian rose.
Nice.
But I do think they're a lot more expensive. Yeah, Lizzie just said about that Shagaf Oud. It's a great dupe of Oud Bouquet. And I saw Brian's comment earlier as well that he always compares any rose oud to Oud Isfahan, which is a fantastic fragrance. That's lovely.
Do you think these? Obviously, we've smelt these ones, but there's the other sort of side of Atelier with the more fancier bottles. Do you think they? I don't know if you've tried any. Do you think they? I wonder if they perform better than the ones that we've tried. Because I've seen quite a few of them on Instagram with the nice
tried
bottles.
Any of those?
I
think she
tried those. Probably to ask.
Yeah.
I mean, Cassie's got a lot of these fragrances, and we've slammed a few probably that she quite likes, but I think she feels the same way. They're nice, perfectly nice, but just not wow factor. And I'm wondering, like the same as you, Nick.
I think Catty summed it up quite perfectly, that it was one of her first niche houses, so she's got a bit of a soft spot for them.
Yeah.
And she gets them heavily discounted, which makes a big difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it definitely does. I think if you can get them discounted, they could be worthwhile, some of them. I really like some of the sort of scent profiles of them. It's just some of them let me down. To compare this, lads, to our previous discoveries that we did Gallivant, didn't we? And we did what was the other one we did?
Mason Margiela.
Now, we hadn't smelt or owned any of those before, but Barry, what did you get from Mason Margiela after that? What did you pick up?
By the Fireplace.
Yeah, and you got Jazz Club as well?
No, I haven't picked it up yet, but it is.
But you quite like it.
On my
you
radar.
Quite like it.
And Beach Walks on my radar as well. And
at the Barbers. At the Barbers, yeah, exactly. So
I
had a few like that.
So there's like four that I want. Oh, and Music Festival as well.
Yeah,
I don't think you guys tried that one, did you?
Yeah, that wasn't in the pack.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. You're right. I picked up the same as you. At the Barbers was one of the nicest barber shop fragrances I've smelt. Didn't last as long as some, but perfectly nice. And I picked up Jazz Club from Nigel. Thank you, Nigel. And Barry tried to beat me to that. But by the Fireplace,
he begged me. He begged me in chat not to have it. And I was only messing around. I wasn't even going for it. And the Moolah, what's it? Not the Moolah. Moolah. He wanted that as well. And I was saying I was going to get that, and I was messaged him. Well, I hadn't really. I was just messing around.
You're a wind-up merchant. But my point I'm trying to make here is that from Maison Margiela, Nick, did you want to pick any up from that discovery?
No, not from that one. I think it was more Gallivant. I preferred that out of all of the sets that we've smelt. And recently, Istanbul, I think I mentioned to you, Tony, that I brought that back out, and I felt like it's got even better with time. I don't know if it just had a bit of time to just sit and blend a bit more, but yeah, I put it on and I was like, oh, this is so good, and it's definitely one where I'm going to get a bottle. It felt like it gone smoother over time. And yeah, all day I was just like, so good, so good. But yeah, I think Gallivant was my favourite out of the ones that we've done so far.
Yeah,
For
I
me
agree
anyway.
with that.
Still want to get
The Maze and
Istanbul.
Istanbul is gorgeous. The Maze and Margiela, what I would say about those is that there was lots I really liked, but again, performance, lovely Barry. The performance let us down a little bit on some of them, but the two standouts, and someone else has put that in there. The standouts are Jazz Club and By the Fireplace. Kit Kat's put that they were, but I really liked At the Barbers, Beach Walk. There were lots of nice ones, but the ones that really jumped out were By the Fireplace, Jazz Club, because they were the most interesting. And they probably lasted the longest of all of those fragrances. And then when we moved on to Gallivant, we were all blown away, all of us, by 2 or 3 of them. And I now own 4. So that brand definitely blew me away. We did get a good deal, didn't we?
Yeah.
Admittedly,
With the voucher.
with the voucher that Nick gave us for doing a live, but we still had to pay a little bit of money for them. They were a good amount off, but they were cheap for niche. But you get the small bottles. But what I don't go to them enough, even though I love them. That makes sense. They're like almost like a treat. Becca's the one that wears London more than I do, so that was one of them. And then we picked up Brooklyn. I love, but I didn't pick up. But I really love. Istanbul was my favourite. That was the one that I wanted immediately. Los Angeles, just because it just jumps out so much at you when you first smell it, different to other things. So we got Los Angeles, and then since Bukhara from the other live that we did with Nick. So we've been really lucky to have that sort of association with Nick from that live that we did. That's where it all started.
Yeah.
And 4 bottles, but what I would say about this brand is I'm not in a rush to go and pick up any of them from this, really. The one I like the most, and Kit Kat knows this, is Vanilla Incense. So I'm going to rate that as my number 1 fragrance. What would you rate, Nick? I think we can guess.
You know which one mine is.
Yep.
Cedar Atlas is my favorite. I'd probably say close to that would be the Pacific Lime.
Okay.
I just like the dry down of Pacific Lime.
And Barry, for you?
Oh, I don't know. I ain't even
Orange.
putting into order. Yeah, I'd probably go for Clementine, California.
Yeah, I really like that.
I do like the Cedrus Atlas, and I do like the Rosa Anonyme as well, although not for me.
I don't know why it reminded me of Sunny Delight, California, Florida.
Sunny D.
Yeah, bit of Sunny D.
Sunny D, yeah, great one.
Remember the kids that drank too much of that and they made them turn orange?
I think they had to tone it down a bit, didn't they?
Yeah, I think Trump's been on there, hasn't
he? Well, it disappeared for a long time, didn't it? And then it made a re-emergence more recently, the last couple of years ago, I think. But no, it's great. Look, lads, as normal, I've really enjoyed this. Is there anything other? I mean, I don't know if you've got any time at all. Is there anything else that you guys want to discuss? Barry's out. He's empty. Any subjects that are interesting in Fragcom?
Any subjects? Oh, do I really want to go there? Probably not.
Probably not after a few drinks.
Are either of you doing the Scent Explore tomorrow?
You know what? No. It's really difficult for me, Barry, because I'm off this weekend.
Yeah.
So I should be there, but it's really difficult because I really want the time with the family. So
same
here.
It's I haven't bought a ticket. It might be one of the things where if we're home in the afternoon.
Yeah, but I think they're stopping the tickets either today or late on today. So I don't think you can buy the tickets on the day. No.
It's one of those things where I really want to watch it, but I can't commit to it, if that makes sense. It's my weekends off are really, really important to me and the family that I spend it with them. And if I'm being honest, I would. This has been my choice, not Becca's. Believe it or not, I know you think that she's the boss, May.
She's definitely the boss.
Mate,
Yeah,
I know she's the boss.
Yeah,
she is the boss, but
What's this?
I
she's behind the
don't
camera.
I don't want to buy a ticket purely because I just want that time with them. It's my weekend off.
Yeah.
Well, I think isn't it starting about 6 o'clock our time, and then it's going into like about 4 a.m. So it just doesn't work.
It will
No.
ruin my Sunday as well. If I stay up stupidly late doing that, and it's gonna ruin my Sunday. And I'm already doing this tonight as well. So you get past this, and then we're going to sleep, and we're into Saturday. Yeah.
I think this
What
one,
do you,
it's not too late though. I think sometimes even when I do our lives, going into like the 12, 12:30, it's a bit knackering. Then when you've got to get up with the kids who walk in at like 6 in the morning, you're like, oh,
regardless of what's
I've
going
not
on,
had that. Yeah.
it's one of those things where I'm really intrigued to see how they're going to work it. And how it's going to work. I'm really intrigued by that. But we will see a lot of the content back on people's channels.
Oh, of course, yeah.
And it's not because the money part of it and buying the ticket to it, not got a problem with that at all. And I'm sure it's 100% worth it. It is just more that I can't commit to. I didn't want to buy a ticket and not commit to being there. If that made sense. So that was more it than the money.
I think if I was on night shift, I would have actually got a ticket, and then I'd just had it on in the background while I was doing my work. But I can't eat into family time like that. This is bad enough eating into family time.
Yeah. On a
What
Friday
are
night.
the? I've not seen too much about what's happening within it. What are the sort of companies doing? Because normally, obviously, that's a sort of place for them to showcase off. Are they sending stuff to the people that are actually presenting?
But they've sent out goodie bags to everybody in the US that have signed up for it. But
All right.
obviously, our regulations, we can't get the stuff over here. So
Okay.
the UK people that have signed up for it, they can't get them. Obviously, the people that are involved, people like Chris and Dan, they might have been sent some stuff. But I heard there's only about half the companies there that was there last year. So
Right.
I don't know. I've
'cause
not
I
really looked into that much, but I know there's some quite big people that are there in the fragrance community.
Because I thought that's your sort of big thing, isn't it? If there's a company there trying to promote their new fragrance and no one's there to sort of smell it and then take it back to their channel and review it, it's a bit hard now with the sort of digital phase going on at the minute.
Yeah, I think they've probably put something in place where the people that are going to be appearing on there, then they're definitely going to have the packs and that. But they did send out a goodie bag to everybody in the US that had signed up for it. But obviously,
Interesting.
our restrictions
Yeah.
would have cost them an arm and a leg.
Interesting.
Nigel's just called me a wuss. I can't believe Nigel has just called me a wuss.
Are you saying Nigel?
Because I won't talk about these subjects. I tell you what's a good subject to bring up, seeing as Nigel's here.
Go on.
Why do a quiz on your channel and then the person that you've got to guess nobody's ever heard of? Nigel, oh the bloody Victor. Nobody had heard of him. He hadn't made a video in English language for over a year. And he expected us to know who he was. Some of us haven't even been in this community for a year yet.
You're banned now, Barry, from the quiz.
Yeah,
He cheats anyway. He always cheats.
We should be here watching Barry's live right now, should we? We should be.
Yeah.
But I miss it when it's not every week. So Barry, get your bloody act together and do it every week. Sod the wife, sod Karen, but don't tell her I said that. Right, well, lads, I don't know if you heard, but a little bit earlier, my dog's barking. They need to be let out. They're used to being let out or going to bed around this time. So, but it's been really good. I don't know what have you got an idea of anything we want to do next in terms of I know we took a long time, but it's good to get back to this. What is there any ideas that you'd like to discover?
I would like to try some of the Renier stuff.
That's what I was going to say.
Was it?
Really?
Yeah, seriously, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah,
let's
and I
look
know-
into it.
Either that, or I'm really interested in 4160 Tuesdays. And I know you
Okay.
had some samples recently. And, you know, Paul Edmonds,
Mhm.
he sent me a couple of samples from 4160 Tuesdays. I think one was Shazam. And what was the other one called? By the Candle or something. By the
Okay.
Candlelight. And they were absolutely blew me away. Plus, Scott had sent that The Dark Side of Havana to me before, and that was lovely.
Yeah, that's
So
nice.
I'm intrigued by them.
Another one
We-
probably I'd say in the future would be Gallagher.
Gallagher would be great. That would be really good.
I've not tried any from Gallagher, but I always hear about them.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Gallagher would
you've
be
tried
great.
any, Barry.
What I would say
No,
as
I've
well,
not tried any.
if any reviewers want to be in on this and be part of it, it is pretty much an open invite. If you've got a brand that you'd like to discuss, then just DM me or any of the lads, and we can all have a chat about it. And we're quite open, I think, to getting. We don't want to do it every single month or every week because it can be quite expensive buying these discovery packs.
Yeah.
You all right, Baz?
So, I speak.
Yes,
Jon
cool.
Snow, go to hell. We are not doing collage. We are not doing collage.
Fill that cabinet with some collage.
Mate,
Creed.
I'd be kicked out the house.
I'll tell you a house that I would like to give a go. In terms of the whole range, is Imaginary Authors. They do a discovery pack.
Mm.
That's another one, yeah. There's
that'd
quite
be
a
I
a
few.
really
really
want to
interesting
try
one.
the SM Cafe.
And I really want
Or
to try
even
their new one.
the one that Brandon keeps going on about, the Francesca Bianchi. I won't mind trying those as well.
So there's lots
Guys,
we
you're
can
making me
try.
skint.
Yeah, I know.
There's lots of
We need
options
to.
out there.
We'll agree
there's
on
lots of
one,
options.
and we'll maybe get one next month and do this again. Maybe early to mid to late January. We'll do it. We'll try and do it sometime in January. And
Get the Christmas pennies out of the way.
Yeah, get the Christmas pennies out of the way. We'll try and do, and we'll see if anyone else wants to be involved. We can have up to 10 people on this, but it could be quite a long live. I will have to tone down the waffling massively if there's a few more people. But I appreciate you all being here. We do need to get going. We've eaten enough into everybody's Friday nights, but really appreciate everyone being here. Thanks to everybody in the chat for sort of taking part. Really appreciate it. And thank you so much to Barry and Nick for agreeing to come on again as normal. And we would definitely have a chat about what's next. I think I
Thanks for
enjoy doing
having
this.
us on. Really
Yeah,
appreciate
thank you
it.
for having us on, mate. Yeah,
No
much
problem.
appreciated.
And I hope you all enjoy your weekend, whether it's Scent Explore or not. Enjoy. And we'll see you on the next live. My live, I've got no live on Sunday. It'll be the following Sunday. So there's a lot going on this week with Scent Explore and everything else going on. So, thank you, CJ. That's very, very kind of you, mate. Thank you. But thank you so
CJ is
much,
a top
everybody.
man.
He is a top man. He's on my he's a moderator on my brother's channel, and he pops in to say
Yeah, I know.
hello
I've
to
seen
us.
him a few times.
He's a really lovely lad to talk to as well. Really down to earth, really lovely. So thank you, and not just because he donates, but CJ, you are a top man. Thank you. But we'll see everybody soon. Thank you for joining us. I will end the stream, and thank you, everyone. Take care of yourselves. Good night.
Good night,
See ya.
all.